Well, as I said before, I'm not going to talk about specifics because I don't think, out of respect for everybody involved and the fact that we just never done it. In general, it just depends on the situation, and I want to be careful what I say because, I don't want anything misinterpreted as if what I say in general or how things have gone in the past is some kind of indication as to how things might be going with James. We think highly of James, and if we didn't, we wouldn't be, trying to figure out a way to keep him with the Thunder. But every one of these situations, to answer your question, Myron, I'm sorry, is different. They have different tempos, different rhythms, and it's a great feeling when you can find that common ground, especially when it's somebody that, we've done a fair amount of these, over time, whether it's Tabo or Nick or, Kevin, Russ, Serge, Nazi, we've done a fair amount of them over time, and we're proud of that. But at the same time, it's not always going to work out. We're going to do our best, and I know James will do his best. And at the end of the day, we'll see where it goes.
After the crazy schedule last year, how nice would it be for your entire program to have a full training camp to see what you guys need to do?
Well, I think it will be very helpful for us. I think it'll be helpful for the coaches. I think about someone like Reggie Jackson, who didn't have a training camp last year, or summer league for that matter. So I think that's going to be a brand new experience for him. I think he had 2 preseason games last year. Cole, also another person that hasn't had a huge amount of time in these types of situations. But I think it'll just help everybody in general. The other thing is, we go back to 82 games, and there's also going to be more time within the season. So you're not only just picking up the month of camp, but you're also picking up those extra days within the season that I feel like Scott makes tremendous use of. He does an excellent job, with the team in practice and in preparatory ways. So hopefully we can find ways to maximize those for us.
Some coaches have expressed after last season either starting the season Christmas Day with 60-some games, not quite as busy, but reduce a certain number, or just start at 62 and go from there at the regular time. Did anything that happened last year change your thoughts on what might be good for the league?
Well, for me personally, the way I'd answer that question is they'll give us the schedule and we'll play it. I don't know that what I have to say about it's really going to move the needle. We like it how it is. We'll play it the schedule that they give us. But that's for the league office to determine. Certainly not for us. We're just trying to get ready for the first day of camp. It's a really deep question.
Well, go back to music.
Yeah, we can sit here all day if we want to talk about that.
Actually, back to YouTube. Did you brush up on any of your 1980s Western TV shows over the years?
That's a great question, and I'm glad that someone asked it because I'm not above laughing at myself. I apologize for that miscue that was pointed out to me last year. I still know the answer. Dallas and Dynasty, right? It should have been Dynasty, but I said Dallas. Or I confused JR. So I said Dynasty instead of Dallas. So the short answer is no. Clearly. So let me self-report that. I've been spending more time on the VH1 angle.
Did you watch any movies this summer? Anyone in particular?
That's a good question. Well, I think the movie you're referring to, I have seen previous screenings, and I think he is a tremendous basketball player. No, he's a multi-talented individual, and the thing that I really love about him is he's just such a good-natured person. We're so fortunate to have him with the organization. He personifies. For those of you that know, I'm talking about Kevin Durant. Sorry, and he personifies so much of what we want to be about as an organization, and he just continually grows in all these different ways, and I'm happy that he enjoyed that process, But I think he's a really good basketball player.
What you said about him and Russ, needing to take on more leadership with the veterans that you let go, is there something that you saw in them that made you feel comfortable that it's okay to let Fish and Nazi and those guys move on, that they're ready to, at 25 or 26, be that person?
Well, I wouldn't say. I think you use the word need. I don't want to say need. I think they're just. Those guys are capable. They're continually evolving, and when you take a look at what it is that they have, established, those guys have been through a lot of things. As have I'd put Nick Carlson in that group there too. I talk a lot about the internal standards that we have, and that we work by on a day-to-day basis. Those three guys are part of the first team that ever wore a uniform and ever wore the logo, and they have a lot of ownership over the culture that's been established because of who they are and how they approach their jobs. And I have a lot of confidence in them. I think Scott has a lot of confidence in them, but that's an evolutional thing. But they're consistent people, and that I think is the baseline that I base that off of.
Some people this summer try to make a big deal out of Kevin and LeBron working out together.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they just played each other in the finals, and I guess that you maybe have some contempt for your opposition or whatever. What do you think of that, and just the fact that those guys do work out together?
Again, I'm not trying to dodge your question, but I don't really pay attention to the narrative of the NBA. I think for me, I'm just really focused on our group, how we improve, and being consistent with kind of what we're about, because I think that's going to be important to us. Look, Kevin's going to work out. He's going to compete. He's going to play. I have implicit trust in Kevin. He's going to spend his time wisely in the off season because his craft is very important to him.
Does that narrative include the Lakers picking up certain players?
Hey, look, I cannot believe we've made it this far in and no one's asked me a Lakers question. Well, maybe I was intimidated because of the phone over there that we were looking at earlier. But yeah, look, that's part of what makes the NBA great is you've got, as we said earlier, all the different teams and their approaches are different. We've got a tremendous amount of respect for the Lakers. They're a great franchise. And I think any team that has the capability and can go out and add two players like Nash and Dwight Howard in the same summer, that's obviously going to improve your chances of winning. But we have to play 28 other teams besides them, and we got to do what we do, and they'll do what they do, and but we can't treat them any different. I think that would be a departure from kind of what's served our team well, and other than to say we've got a lot of respect for them.
Same with the offseason, signing Serge, but also bringing in some of the guys you did, Beat and a variety of other guys, defensive-centric guys. Can you just talk about, for you personally, your philosophy on defense and what you sort of, in your perfect mind's eye, would like to see defensively out of these guys?
Well, I think I wouldn't say that it's necessarily my philosophy. I think it's more of an organizational philosophy that we feel like in order to be consistent and win at the highest levels, you have to be able to play that end of the floor. I mean, clearly, you have to be able to play both ends, and there's more than one way to win a basketball game, and there's more than one way to approach the game. But we're at our best when defensively, we're locked in, and I think we saw that, in the Spurs series. The standard of performance we were operating at there defensively was pretty high level. I give a lot of credit to our coaches and our players for getting to that point. But it keeps you consistent, and it's something you can rely on a night in and night out basis. I think Scott does a great job emphasizing that. It's important to him and his core beliefs. And it also allows us to get out in situations, advantage situations in transition and kind of maximize the group that way too. But I think it helps balance our team.
You say you don't pay attention to NBA narrative much, but what about when it involves your own players, like KD playing flag football or James having a yacht party or whatever? Do those concern you at all, or do you feel that's their business, or is it also your business? Or?
Well, I mean, let me clarify the narrative piece. When I say narrative, I mean, look, part of our ability to sustain as an organization, as a team, is not just performing well, but be able to limit the distractions and manage the things that come along with the product of being an improving team, so that we can do the work on the floor, isolate that, put all of our efforts towards understanding our performance and then breaking it down so it's repeatable. When it comes to our players, certainly, I'm always aware and invested in their growth, and I think they are too, because I think they, I'd like to think that they also feel a lot of ownership over what they've helped establish as an identity for the franchise. They should.
We talk about player development and player growth. What kind of challenges there organizationally with the coaching staff or training staff to improve over the summer as well?
I'm sorry, could you, what kind of challenges or what kind of?
I'm saying, what kind of things do you look for in a summer, even a short one, to try to improve as a
Sure. Okay, so I'm sorry, I just didn't understand the question, Nick. I think there's all kinds of opportunities, in the summertime to improve. And I give a lot of credit to our coaching staff and our players for putting in the extra time that they have over the years. That's been a big part of our development as a team. But I think spending time, with them in the off season, being specific about the things they want them to improve on. There's, a lot of it comes down to the people that we have in place and who is directing those efforts, from our medical and our athletic performance and coaching, because we really consider all those people integral to our approach.
Any other questions?
There's got to be some more.
All right, I'll fire one.
I'm ready.
You're talking about the narrative of the NBA, and a lot of the narrative has been around the collective bargaining agreement. A lot of people thinking it would even the playing field, that big money teams like the Lakers, the Knicks wouldn't be able to do some of the things they've done in the past, and that small market teams would be able to work a little bit easier. Well, we've seen the Lakers bring in Dwight Howard and Steve Nash. I've read recent national articles that say a team like Oklahoma City in particular, will not be able to receive revenue sharing money from the Lakers and the Knicks because the team has done so well in generating revenue that you're going to actually be paying into that. Are we all wrong on the narrative of the new CBA? Has it done what you thought it would? Are you surprised with what's happened?
I think it's a layered question. Not that there's anything wrong with the question. I just think there's a lot of dynamics with that question. For us, I think the best word I can use is like, this is what it is. So, our job is to figure out, what works best in Oklahoma City. What we can do to continue to build a team that, is obviously, highly competitive, but also that, can work within the parameters that we have. and the realities that we have, we're not going to pass judgment on, how it's going to look or what's going to happen. We have to deal with the present and figure out how to make it work for Oklahoma City and the Thunder. And we can't really concern ourselves too much with, what it might be doing for other teams or might not be doing for other teams. This is where it is, and our job is to do the best we can with the group that we have, and I'm confident in the group that we have. So to answer your question, I don't know. Ultimately, that's going to play itself out on its own. We have to focus on the Thunder. We have to focus on the things we can control. And that's where our emphasis is. And when basketball starts and our guys take the floor, I'm confident that that's where their focus is going to be. And, we'll evaluate each situation and do the best we can, to put this team in a position to be successful, and also to long term allow the organization to be strong, because I think that's going to be really important. It means a lot to all of us that this is only our 5th season in Oklahoma City, so the identity of this franchise is cement's not dry. We have work to do. We embrace that. We're comfortable with that. Within the walls of our organization, the things that we think are important to winning basketball games and building an organization that is consistent with our core values, that recipe is the same as it has been for quite a while. I think we'd be doing a disservice to ourselves if we started to think otherwise, because we've got a lot of terrain to cover yet.
Is figuring out your backup to Perkins probably one of your biggest things that Camp is about?
Well, ultimately that decision is going to be Scott's. He's going to decide who plays and how much. I believe that's the way it should be, and he'll do a great job with that. I feel good about the guys that we have in camp. We have on the roster. Hashim has done a very good job this summer. His conditioning is vastly improved. Cole's done a nice job. We know what he did last year in limited opportunities. So we'll evaluate that, and Scott will make those decisions as we get through training camp. But now that we've got a full camp, there's going to be ups and downs for every player. I don't think you can isolate 10 minutes in a preseason game as the performance for a month. I'll be interested to see when the month is over, what we're looking at. But it's a month-long process.
Bert said a few weeks ago that he was a few weeks away from recovery.
Mm-hmm.
How close is he to being 100% ready for camp?
Well, he'll be. What we're trying to do is have him ready for the first game or first beginning of the season. Regular season, beginning of the regular season. His conditioning and his fitness and levels, he's done a fantastic job. His wrist is the thing that we have to be very cautious with, and we will be. So that'll give some opportunities, for the other guys, during camp. But we're always, whenever these questions about timetables for injuries arise, we're always, somewhat vague because we don't really know the answers. It would be like asking you guys, how quickly everyone's going to write their story. Everyone's going to write, because you guys write at different paces, and someone might get up and go get a cup of coffee, and someone might take a phone call. Everyone reacts differently to these things. Most important thing is that we do everything we can to put the player in position to be successful, and their health comes first.
If you could get a hold of VH1 and have them do
have I not opened up a can of worms here?
which album would you want them to do?
Oh, Okay, so, oh man, that's hard.
Thank you.
That's hard. Can we go back to the negotiation questions? I would say okay, to I'm going to go with the first thing that popped in my head. There's an artist named Elliott Smith. He there's an album called XO. It's like a kind of a folk, like artsy guy. Fascinating songwriter. I'd love to see like kind of how he developed the songs on that album. And then pretty much anything by James Brown, I would be fascinated by. Just to see just kind of how he guided the bands, because the bands were just so tight and so well put together. I'd be fascinated by that. Kind of Blue by Miles Davis, to see that history basically coming together. That would be awesome. So I'll stop there, but I can go on. I gave you 3. I should have given you 1, but those are the things that probably.
Are you a beatnik? Are you sorry you missed Woodstock?
I don't know. I did see Dylan at the Zoo Amphitheater while he was here. It's great. I was thankful that I knew some of the songs, so I was like, that must be. But it was really good. That was one of those things. The other thing about seeing Dylan here that was really interesting to me was, he's a huge Guthrie fan, right? So, and obviously Guthrie's from here. Guthrie's from here. So I kept thinking to myself, I wonder if this performance, there's anything special in there because his hero is born here, like if there's this performance meant anything more to him because that's where his idol is, the person that people accused him of kind of taking from. If there was anything kind of going on there, while I was watching him and trying to figure out what song he was playing.
So you overthink music like that?
What's that?
You overthink music.
No, I like to think that I'm fascinated by it.
Sam, final thought on the NFL that last play.
This has been wide-ranging.
You can criticize those refs.
Yeah, right. I really honestly don't know enough about the NFL. And even if I did, no one really cared what I thought anyway. I just, hopefully they work it out, but it's none of my business, I guess. I hate to.
How bad would it get if the NBA refs went on strike?
I would put a lot of trust in the league office. They're the people that make the decisions, on all those issues, and I know they have the best interest of the NBA and in mind, and I would just defer to them, and we'd go out and practice and play like we normally do.
So you have more confidence that the NBA office would do better than what the NFL office has apparently done?
No, I don't know the NFL office, so I would just, and we don't play, we'd be the first NBA team playing in NFL, and I think our guy, I like some of our, I think a few of our guys would do all right, but I wouldn't want to put most of our guys in pads. Let's put it that way. Well, at the end of the day, the thing that's fascinating to me about basketball is when you look out there, the only thing that's out there is a ball, right? And these 2 rims. And then everything that happens within there is unique. I mean, you can't play the same game twice. And when you think about the size and the skill level of some of those guys, there really is. It's a fascinating thing. And when you have an opportunity to be around some really good players, I don't think you can take it for granted. To watch how they prepare, to watch how they execute, to watch how they play, and evaluate their own performances. But it's a ball and some rules and a lot of open space, and that's why I think it's a fascinating game.
You mentioned the moves the Lakers made. You guys still are the defending conference champs. Does that mean that you guys are still the team to beat in the West?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, preseason predictions and things like that, that's never really been our bag. I think we all would prefer to wait and see how the season goes, because the predictions and things of that nature don't necessarily have a huge impact on how seasons end up. So it'll be important for us, I think, to be who we are and focus on that and not lose the fact that, we're still growing and I think we've got more room to grow for sure. And we'll be better off from our experiences. But, it's not for us to predict who looks better now or what have you. We're going to prepare. I know Scott Brooks is going to have a team ready to play. And after we play the game, he'll sit down and figure out the areas we need to improve. He'll bring that to the guys, and we'll work on it. But we've got, the same amount of time to do that as every other team. And if you spend your time worrying about one specific team in this league, I think that's a bad habit.
Any chance you guys unveil alternate uniforms this year?
Going back 4 years.
We will be wearing an additional uniform during the season. The schedule for that, I don't know that I'm at liberty to disclose. There'll be a different uniform. There's a lot of stipulations and steps as to when you can do that. It's not like we've just getting around to it or just decided to. There's a specific period of time and guidelines that we've followed, and we're really excited about it. Really excited about it. We hope people like it. But the people wearing the uniform have to do the job. But yeah, it'll be, I think, an exciting thing for our fans and things like that, and we look forward to it.
What color is it?
And now it's the point where I would be stepping out of my lane, so I got to stay in my lane on that one.
Is it like a throwback? What those are?
2009.
Once again, well, it's not. We were going to go like the ultra. First of all, I think that somebody's going to capitalize on the initial summer league. Ever remember that one?
Yeah. Oklahoma City basketball.
That's like, to me, someone's going to capitalize on that. Because if you go back and you look at like Russell Westbrook's rookie photo shoot, he's wearing that. That's what we wore in summer league. That's part of the history of the birth of our team. But we will not be that. It will not be that. But I don't think I can go into that. And it's not because I'm trying to be coy. It's because it's really better for however the business office wants to present that at the appropriate time. I'd like to say that we're pleased with it. And a lot of people collaborated on it, and we'll look forward to having it out there, and hopefully our fans enjoy it and embrace it.
So it's not one of those Hispanic heritage, like El Fundo or whatever. It's like your own alternate.
This is like we're spending a lot of time on this. It's an alternate jersey that is designed by the team, that is up to the team as to how they do it, and I don't want to make a comment as to like what the direction is of it.
You didn't let Russell Westbrook sign it.
What's that?
You didn't let Russ design it.
He only gets to do eyewear. That's it. And,
Anything else? Thanks, Sam.
all right. Thank you, guys.